Hello, this is William Hung, and it is Seltzer Time.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Seltzer Time podcast. It's your boy Ricky, aka Dick Chuck, aka the man behind the can at Seltzer Time Official. Here is always with my conversation accomplice, the man with the honcho about what's there, Travis.
What is cracking, Fizzle Fiends? Welcome back to another episode of the Seltzer Time podcast. And as always, we are so glad you are back with us. And if you celebrate, we want to wish you a Merry Christmas because it's Christmas week here in the States.
Jingle these bells, baby.
And this week on the show, to celebrate our 99th podcast, we got the legend Wayne Grimes. No, we didn't. We got our buddy Joe Gonzalez-Dufresne, wedding and commercial photographer, good buddy of ours. But before we get there, y'all know what we have to do. Hey, Ricky, how was your week?
What's up? My week was lovely. Let's see. What did I do this week?
That's a great question.
Oh, dude, there's a new spot called Thai Corner. Do you know where the Friends Cafe used to be?
No.
Off of Chandler Street.
Okay.
So it was, you know where the 7-Eleven is?
Yeah.
It was right across the street from there. Or it was like, yeah, there's like Donut Cafe 2, 7-Eleven's on the other side, and then across from 7-Eleven and also across from Donut Cafe would be Friends Cafe. I never went to Friends Cafe. It closed. Sorry, guys. And Thai Corner opened, apparently, which I never even heard of until yesterday. But Naomi's parents got food from there, I don't know, sometime over the weekend, and they loved it. They said it was awesome.
Cool.
So last night we were trying to figure out what we wanted to eat. We figured we'd like give this spot a try. I almost got killed driving there because of that snow. It was so bad. It snows a lot up here.
Well, yeah, and you got hills.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I literally saw a car like fly off the road, like hit a snowbank. It was fucking nuts. It was pretty crazy.
Yikes, bikes.
It was pretty wild. But needless to say, Thai Corner is the spot. It was really, really good. I posted a thing on Seltzer Time's Instagram, and a bunch of people were like, "I love that place." So
it's been around for a minute.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I don't really go that way anymore because I don't have to. Like, I don't live over there, so it doesn't make sense. And there's nothing over there for me to go to, except for Thai Corner now. But yeah, so we tried that out. It was great. I watched Ted Lasso. Naomi and I watched the entire first season in like 2 days, basically. It's only, I don't know, 8 episodes or 10 episodes. It's really, really good. It's awesome. It's about
a short premise.
Okay. So American football coach going through a divorce, he's like a very good football coach for like a college team. Accepts a job over in London as a soccer coach or a football coach. And he's awesome. He's like the nicest human being of all time. He just has a really cool, like, way that he carries himself. Very nerdy, but like in the nicest way possible.
Okay.
It's a really, really, really good show.
I tend to like British things.
It's way more American. It's more like, I don't know how to explain it. There's only like 2 American dudes in the whole thing. It's like the coach and then his assistant coach, whose name is the Beard. Yeah, give it a shot. It's awesome. You'll like it.
Yeah, I'll give it a peep.
Our homie Pig Out Bakery dropped some new merch.
Some dope ass designs.
I know. I wanted to get the tie-dye one, but it's sold out in large. So I think I'm just going to go with the pink and white. Tie-dye's the move, man. I'm telling you. We should use some Seltzer Time tie-dye stuff.
I told you, I want to get custom Kevin Law tie-dye, do a run.
It's got to happen.
I'm digging those designs by Jess Weiss. Nice job.
Killed it.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Yeah, gangster. And then the last thing I did was the homies in 4 Year Strong played a holiday show.
That
virtually.
was so goddamn fun.
Yeah, it was sick.
Like from the whole thing looking like it was dubbed and like, I don't know, just that down home feel for the 20 minutes of watching Dan and Alan just sit there in chairs, fucking in silence was hilarious. Hilarious.
Yeah, it was awesome. I am a huge fan of this, like, watch a show from home thing. I thought I was going to hate it. I've loved everyone I've watched so far has been different from the last one. So I'm really excited about that. I really like the fact that they had like a little skit thing that kind of like wove in and out, and they really played it into the at-home holiday special, and there was a bunch of seltzer in it.
Yeah. Oh,
Sean
I love
Connery
that.
was in it.
Dude, Sean banging his head, reprising his role. I loved it.
He's the best.
Yeah.
No, I was into it. It was the new songs too. Like the only thing that bummed me out was I really wish we were like at the Palladium, because those new songs, that new record's so good. I really want to hear it live.
Yeah, dude.
So
I kept looking over at Sarah and I go, dude, a year ago I was hanging out watching these dudes play live, and they were just like, we heard I think it was Brain Pain or one of the songs. They sampled one of the new songs.
So
I wasn't as impressed by the guest performances they had. I wish other bands took a little bit more care with the way they produced their guest performances.
Yeah, but I mean, they didn't have like a professional crew.
Oh, I agree.
They shot them on their phones, probably.
Yeah. It was such a drastic, like, I like how whoever edited that did what they could, added that fun little border, like made it fun. Yeah. It just, I fast forwarded through those. I didn't watch it live though either.
I did. Or like, it wasn't live. It was like a stream thing.
Like,
or like, you know what I mean?
They released it?
They released it at 6. So I watched it then, but it they had recorded it before.
Right. So there's there's a way that we're even going to look to do the 100th episode where you can premiere the episode where everybody sees like when it's going to go live on YouTube. And then we can sit in the chat. And if anybody wants to come and like watch the episode along with us, we could just sit there in the chat and type away. And
that's pretty fun.
I was thinking maybe we can do like an Instagram live or something for it. I don't know. Yeah. Just do some celebrate.
I'm into that. I'm into it. How was your week?
I've been crushing TV shows too this week, man. One show specifically, I love, it's called The Repair Shop. It's this British show. I know I've talked about it on the show before, but they released this 3rd season on Netflix, and it's this such a wholesome, lovely show about this shop where people can bring in their antiques and old, broken, rundown things. And this series of this team of professionals will take it in and refab it. Like they got a guy that works on clocks. They have a leather worker. They have a couple furniture guys, people. They have these 2 young ladies that work on stuffed animals, and they repair old teddy bears and stuff.
That's so sick.
So goddamn sweet. And like this year sucked. It sucked ass, right? I needed a nice solid palate cleanser, and this is it, man. I can watch this shit just for hours. It's just so lovely and peaceful. So that's
like my Ted Lasso. Like, yeah, Ted Lasso is that for me.
All right. I'm into that. But yeah, so I've been balancing that between working, and then I did play a little bit of a video game this weekend, which was pretty huge because I downloaded Star Wars not the Last Jedi. Oh man,
Last Republic. I don't know. I don't know anything about video games.
I love it.
Except NHL 2020. I still have to get 2021 because it just came out in like October, and I still don't have it yet. But I am in the second round of the playoffs. I think the last time we talked, I was losing 2 games to zip. Now I'm losing 3 games to 2. So I won 2 today. The game I lost today, I simmed. It's my own fault. You should.
Dude,
I had to. I know. I wanted to
time.
I didn't have time to play a third one, and I just kind of wanted to see what happened.
I got impatient. I get it.
I did. It's my own fault. Idiot.
this game's called Jedi Fallen Order, and it's kind of like Assassin's Creed and Star Wars land, and it's super, super fun. And you run around and beat people up with a lightsaber, and it's thoroughly enjoyable. And you got this cute little droid that follows you around.
Okay, I'm into it.
I've been doing that and then trying to get all my work done. Like I said, I thought I was going to take it easy before Christmas, and it sure hasn't happened. So this week I've been finishing stuff up. One of these days I'll take some time off. Are you guys closing down?
We are,
Christmas?
yeah. So I work, we're open Christmas. I work every day until Christmas Eve. We're only open until like 2, I think. And then I think we're going to have some lunch at the store, and then that'll be it. And then your boy will be on vacation. So I'll be on vacation until the 2nd of January, which is dope. I will be probably playing a lot on TikTok and just recording sub stories now that I'm back in the swing of things with that, and like trying to finish making this into an office.
I feel that. I have a basement that I'm slowly working on, but I went and grabbed, I loved this beautiful thing. Oh my word. This got in my bag today went by order.
So for those of you who are listening to this and not watching it on YouTube,
you're dumb. Go watch it on YouTube.
Yeah, go watch it on YouTube. But so we just had these like little happy holidays cards made, and they're put into every order. And it's the 3 of us wearing our jumpsuits, and we look like Slipknot. We are Slipknot.
So that's okay. I need to come clean that I was having a meeting with Sean and Brian from Hoot Nanny over the weekend, and we were talking about you, and I'm like, I just need to figure out a way to get Ricky more involved. And they said, yeah, you got to buy him a jumpsuit. And I go, yeah, I know. The dude loves Slipknot. I really should know this by now. And then thank you. You've just proven my point. I love it.
That's what I'm here for, man. Making Slipknot jokes. I don't even like Slipknot.
You don't even like Slipknot?
I like Slipknot. Like 8th grade me fucking loves Slipknot, but 33-year-old me can appreciate how good they are live. Like I never saw them live when I was younger. I saw them live, I don't know, 5 years ago or something, 6 years ago. Whenever the first tour they did with Jay Weinberg as their drummer.
Gotcha.
That's the first time I saw them. Korn opened. Both bands were absolutely incredible. I feel like it was 2015. I'll find out. I'm sure I have a ticket stub next to me in this book somewhere over there.
All right. So Ricky's going to find out, and we're going to toss it to Joe, where we talk about more music and photography and less Slipknot. What is cracking, Fizzle Fiends? This week on the show, we are talking to Joe Gonzalez-Dufresne, wedding and commercial photographer and a very good friend of ours. Hey, Joe, thanks for being our Wayne Gretzky. How you doing, buddy?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, and honored to be here and all that jazz.
All that jazz.
Our Wayne Gretzky.
I know.
Well, I mean, every podcast needs a 99th, and I'm really pumped that we got to call in a good one from our friend Joe and talk about local music and local art, and it's like all the stuff that we love.
Definitely.
It's true. Are you drinking a coffee from New Tradition?
Well, beans.
Joe.
Oh.
Yeah, not you, man. Yes,
not you.
I am. I had to get a Peppy Mochi while it's still in season.
Hell yeah.
Peppy Mochi. It's
Peppy Mochi.
It's exactly what it is. Peppermint mocha with whip, oat milk, and it's very dreamy.
Can you make an oat whipped? I didn't know they can make oatmeal whipped cream.
But there's a couple non-dairy brands that are really good. They've come a long way.
Wait, did he find non-dairy whipped cream?
Yeah. Big Y sells it.
Yeah.
Shut up, Big cool. Y. Woo woo.
Shut up, Big Y. This podcast is brought to you in part by Big Y.
The Grande Grec. So Joe, figure we could start with the photography stuff, because that seems to be what you're doing these days. Not seems to be. That's how you are spending more of your time these days.
We always see you with the camera. It feels like you're a photographer or something.
Well, I mean, he did just help us out with those badass shots in Worcester. That was super fun. Let's start there. Thank you. I'm going to publicly say thank you for taking those shots of us. Thank you for getting Ricky and I almost hit by cars, because that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thank God for crosswalk lights, right?
I knew somebody was going to ask. And really, that first day we posted it, someone was like, oh, way to be safe or something like that. We're like, no, we stay in the crosswalks.
I know. I saw that. I'm like, people, that's the thing. People don't know like the story of a photo, right? Because, we could have easily been irresponsible and ran through traffic and got the same result. But, we're older fellas. So I figured crosswalk, push the stop sign, look both ways, kids. Boom.
Yeah.
We would have probably held hands crossing the street, but COVID. So
yeah, right.
Naomi's friend Naomi asked at one point if we were holding hands. And I said, yeah, of course. I'm not allowed to cross the street by myself.
That's perfect.
So that was a lot of fun. Do you do like a lot of shoots like that where it's just kind of no actual plan? You just kind of walk around and have fun?
Sometimes it doesn't happen as often as I would like it to. More so like if I'm not shooting, sometimes I'm just sitting on the couch or hanging out at, getting a coffee and, hanging out with the fam. I really want to do more stuff like that. It's just, I have to, see who's available, the time. If it is spur of the moment, it's because like of the weather. So like if it's a really nice sunny day, a good run down to the city, could be really cool because the way the sun leaks through the buildings and everything. So, yeah, I don't know. I'd like to do more spur of the moment stuff. So this is probably the time to do that. So especially now that my season's winding down, my very weird, shortened wedding season.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. On average, how many weddings do you do in a non-COVID year?
Between 20 and 25. I try to keep it around there because I don't want to overwhelm myself with work, as no one really ever wants to, but like, I just want to be able to focus and get my work done. And in addition to like, additional like commercial jobs, I need to just be able to focus on what's in front of me and not be, being overwhelmed is not a good feeling, especially in this industry because, everyone has different turnaround times. Like weddings are different. Those take a bit longer because of just the quantity of photos, where other shoots are less output in the end. So those could be quicker. So just finding all that balance.
Nice. And then for contrast, what did this year look like?
It was better than I expected. So in March and April, it started, with a couple clients getting in touch, about postponing their wedding. And so I had a Post-it note. I wrote their names down, just a little checklist. And then like 2 weeks later, it turned out to a whole entire spreadsheet. So I had to like keep track of everyone because people were changing dates, postponing. It was just like a mess for everyone. Everyone's trying to organize, figure out the best way to do it. I didn't want to lose clients. They still wanted to work with me. So I put together like a web page that had information on what my protocols were going to be, so they would be prepared. So it's not like an awkward conversation. They know everything I'm willing to do on my end, and it worked out great. Almost everyone rescheduled successfully to next year. And they, I only had like one couple cancel. That was like in March, early March, this year. That was it. Everyone else just moved. And then, so what happened is it opened up. I basically thought I was going to have the whole year off. And then all of a sudden, once people figured out what they were able to do with guidelines, and once obviously everyone learned more about COVID and, like with social distancing, wearing masks, being outside, I was doing a lot of they're calling them micro weddings. But I ended up shooting a whole bunch of those throughout, the summer into the fall, which was great. It was only like, anywhere from 2 to 5 hour weddings, which was pretty great. And everyone was basically, following the guidelines. Everything's outside, masks, most of the time, outside. And the social distancing was great. I'm wearing like 2 masks because I'm just, I'm like just being super safe, because I'm working with people every weekend and I go home to my family and I just can't, mess around like that. So on top of that, I get the weekly tests. But anyway, so to go back to the, my season, it just, it just helped, like that. It was something that no one expected, with work coming in like the way it did. It wasn't like the same workload that I would normally have, but it just still, came to fruition unexpectedly. So and the people that I've worked with have been all incredible. Everyone I feel like in a sense, the weddings ended up even, not to say like a regular wedding day and non-COVID times wasn't emotional or powerful, but I feel like it was even more important, now, just because they realize that they're able to have this small gathering, and they really think about who they really want immediately next to them, if anyone.
This year's been very good about refocusing our value set and just like I don't know, thinking back years past around this time, I would be upset if I didn't go to like 3 or 4 parties and see, all the people that I'm trying to see and my gift list. This year I am thankful if I get to see my parents in real life. And like, that's it. That's good. I'm fucking good. It's just, it's a recalibration. So for something like a wedding, having it completely boiled down to just the most important people in a very micro setting, if I was to do our wedding again, I would totally see the value in that, non-COVID related.
Yeah. Yeah. People have really gotten creative to just, a lot of people using their backyards. People have had to postpone multiple times throughout this year, and they just say, screw it. Let's just use our backyard. And they're really nice. It just has a more personal touch, more meaningful, I've found. I do a lot of backyard weddings anyway, but like just to do like more, it was really just nice. People's pets are at their house running around, just little things like that.
I went to a backyard wedding. It's actually the only, well, I guess I went to a wedding in February too, pre-COVID. We were supposed to go to like something like 8 weddings, I think, this year. And we went to 2. One of them was in February. And then one of them was a backyard wedding in August. And it was awesome. Super, super, super chill. All the other ones were either like scaled down to like just family, so we couldn't go, or they were rescheduled to next year, which was great. But yeah, backyard weddings the move.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Definitely.
Maybe that's what I'll do.
I'm telling you, man, having done the other way, like Sarah and I look at how much we spent versus it would have been more fiscally responsible to invest that money in something like a house, or not our house, but like pay down student debt. Like that money could have been better spent than on one day.
Instead of having a huge wedding, I think we're just going to allocate whatever wedding budget we have to a seltzer budget for me. Naomi would be cool with it.
Do something like build your home bar of your dreams, and the two of you can have your home bar that you ever wanted.
She doesn't make drink.
Well, she can always have, I don't know, fucking Shirley Temples. Make sure that she has enough grenadine to last her through the millennia.
Got to watch out for those red dyes, though.
Oh my God, Papa Joe.
Can't help it.
I love him. Oh, I see.
That's awesome.
I absolutely. And this is typical for our conversations at the coffee shop.
Yeah. Always looking out for everyone.
Dude, I love it. Yeah. Joe was the one that talked me to get my first COVID test. He's been sending me details throughout this entire thing on where I can go find them. Before we were recording, he was giving me some tips as to the test that I'm going to go take here this afternoon. So I appreciate it. It's good to have friends that are more knowledgeable on things.
Lots of research, lots of swabbing.
I especially like when you and Strader put up the videos of each other that you're swab buddies again.
Yeah. Yeah, it was funny. One test, it was a drive up one that we go to a lot. We ended up coincidentally having an appointment at the same time, basically. So I pulled up and he was like right next to me.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's just getting ridiculous, but it's good that they offer them for now.
Yeah. True. So prior to photography, you were in a band?
Yeah, I was in a few bands. That's basically like exactly why I'm where I'm at right now. So like everything, I always look at everything in life. Maybe most people do, I don't know, but I look at as, everything has led to where I am right now, from the past. So, but yeah, I was in a few bands, did some touring and, did all that, did some tour managing, which was a cool experience. That was a little short-lived just because I couldn't travel like all the time at that point in my life, So, or maybe I just wasn't a good tour manager. I don't know.
Both things are possible.
Yeah.
It's a hard gig, tour managing. I've done a couple tour managing gigs. It's not easy, man.
Yeah, there's really a lot. Like I was kind of semi-organized for my bands and just kind of handled a lot of the stuff. But like when you do it for other bands, I think even, it's more important to keep track of everything. There's so many different factors, like making sure the head count and the ticket count lines up, and it's just a lot, and making sure you're getting paid, because sometimes you deal with people that,
Yes.
take money from the door.
Well, because these are
like
other kids that don't know what they're doing. So it's like, oh, I could throw a show.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll guarantee you $200, and then you go looking for your $200, and the kid fucking beat feet halfway through the third set.
All right. Yeah, that's why
I'd be the worst tour manager. I can't ask for money for anything, and I'm not exactly the most organized person. I'd be a really fun
Merch guy,
roadie. Yeah, I could.
Yeah, there you go. You would get all. I could see you honestly as the entertaining merch person that has that creative tip jar, we'll dance for tips or something, and then it's just full by the end of the night.
Yeah, when I was out with SJC, I wasn't even technically a merch guy. I was just running our booth, but it was kind of the same thing where I just made friends with everybody because I had very little responsibility, and I made tips for selling literally nothing. It was awesome.
Yeah.
A lot of free beers. It's great.
Yeah, nice.
I mean, it's a fun life, but it that's the thing. So from the outside, it looks like it's fun, luxurious tour life, but when you're actually doing it, it is so much work. And if you don't get people that are taking it seriously, like if you're tour managing for a band that is just a bunch of losers, it's gonna freaking kill you. It's gonna drive you insane.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of. There's so many random things with this whole. That's the thing, right? So for instance, just to touch on the touring part, obviously it's not really glamorous, really. In at least in my experience and many others, but I've been to many states and cities in the country, and my wife's she's like, you've been there, but you haven't really been there. And I'm you're right. But that's why now I'm I find the cities that I really liked going to, and we travel to them now as a family, so, and we base a lot of it around food. So
you were like a scout. You were just scouting locations.
Oh, absolutely. That's it. That's the only reason why I was in a band, to scout locations
for you and your daughter.
Yeah. Before I even thought about having a kid, I was so it's you never know.
All right. So what's your favorite city? I got it now.
Well, I have two. Is that okay?
That's perfect.
I don't know. We'll see.
Well, it's Portland, Oregon, or Oregon.
Okay.
Said correctly, Oregon, and not Oregon.
Yeah. Well, some of my friends there say it's Oregon, oregano, so it's Oregon, but anyway, so it still hasn't been drilled in my head. It's been years. They're in Philly. Philly mainly because I don't even know how many years it's been. Has to be at least 20 years since meeting some friends there. So in some of my past bands, we played in Philly a bunch, and some of my closest friends to this day were in bands then, and we still hang out. Some of us have kids, and if I can travel out there with them, the kids play and we get to hang out. So it's kind of, it has a special place like in my like heart, as cheesy as it sounds. Because of them, I love Philly, because it wasn't just a spot to just hang out and see sights. It was more just like, hey, let's go to this speakeasy at 4:00 in the morning, and then like people are getting in fights and like, it's like, yeah, this is Philly. Then we go to the pretzel factory and we get, fresh, like a giant garage door opens and a conveyor belt of soft pretzels come out. And they just break them off and they go to all the Wawas and all the those places out there, but they, you can buy them there by, individually or buy in bulk, and they have a conversion chart. So like one could cost $1, but two could cost 75 cents, and it gets less and less. So we'd buy bricks of like, it's almost like one of those things where you get more than you can handle.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, and they have like several vats of mustard and you can pick your favorite mustard. Anyway, so that, things like that, like nobody really gets to experience, I feel if you're just stopping in like this, these are things that I thought were really awesome. I don't know. It's just, the people make your experience. So,
for sure.
So it was there. And then in Portland, Oregon, I feel like that, that area just resonates with me. Just because, it's a big artist. It's like a big artist collective, in the scenery there is just like unreal. So those are probably two of my most traveled destinations in the country since post music life. Yeah.
The correct answer was Worcester, Massachusetts, though, Joe. Sorry. So we're going to have to deduct points.
But I'm from Worcester.
No, so
all right, hold on.
I have family. I have family out in Eugene, Oregon, and Oregon is
nice.
It's a much slower way of life out there, but it is very beautiful. Except Portland. I haven't spent much time in Portland, but I love that it has such a huge comic book industry. Like there are a lot of people in mainstream comic books around Portland, Oregon.
Nice. Yeah.
It gets excited.
Yeah.
So all right. So in your band days, what was like the biggest venue or show that you played? Like what was like the most notable?
Good question. I don't know, like capacity wise. I mean, let's see, Norfolk, Virginia. I don't know how many people that holds, but it was a great show. The audio was great. It was more memorable for me, I think, because when I got to the venue, I have the road case for my amp, and I'm still a dumbass, but back then I was a dumbass too. But I was, instead of carrying, I had no one to help carry my road case, and it didn't have wheels. So they have, if you've seen them, they have like the metal rounded edges, but it's still metal. So I'm like, I'll just push it across the floor of the venue. And the floor is actually like a black painted hardwood. And so it left a big scratch going all the way across the length of the floor. Oh. And the staff was like, hey, what are you doing? And I was like, oh shit. So I thought I was going to get, banned, but it was fine in the end, because at the end of the show, there was so much dust, from people's shoes, you couldn't see anything. So I felt a little bit better about it. But anyway, I feel like that, one of the last shows I did in one of my bands was one of the skate fests. I forgot what year it was, but that was kind of like when I kind of knew the band was going to be done at that point, but like, it was still cool to play downstairs at the Palladium. Cause I don't know if that was I think I've only played downstairs once, maybe twice, but definitely once downstairs. It was cool, just I don't know, just the energy is just like pretty cool.
What year was that?
Oh, I don't know. It's gotta be.
Do you remember who else played?
I can't remember if that's the year Andrew WK played. I think it may have been the year, everything blends together. It's so bad. Like, I'm like, was I at that show or did I play that show? I have no idea.
Wait, okay. You guys keep talking. I'm going to check something because I think if it was I only went to 2 of those skate fests, but one of them I still have the handbill for, and it has all of the bands that played.
Okay.
I'm going to see if you played.
All right.
Which band would you have played with?
Orange Island.
Orange Down. Okay.
Orange Island. Yeah.
And then for our listeners, just conversely, I want to hear about some of the worst shows you've ever played. Like
The worst.
some of the times where you got stiffed by the promoter or you didn't even get to play.
Oh, yeah. So let's see. If we want to go back to like the maybe late 90s, I'm really dating myself here, but I know a lot of your listeners were born in the late 90s. So, oh yeah. So one of my old bands, we were called Prize Fighter. Then we changed our name to the Chase Scene. That's a whole nother story. But we had like people that wanted to help us out and book a tour for us. So they booked the tour. They got all these dates. They gave us our itinerary. We all kind of quit our jobs, ready to go. And we had this, the tour date. So we put everything up online. And then, when you're in a band, you advance the show. You call and, hey, we're coming in. Almost every place we called, they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. So there was like a fake tour set up, basically. And there was like, I think two actual shows out of like literally going from, like the Northeast down to Texas.
2 weeks?
It was going to be a couple weeks. Yeah. And only 2 of the shows was awful. So we said, screw it. So we just started contacting, and this is,
MySpace days?
Yeah. Yeah.
I know exactly what you're about to tell me.
What?
So you would contact the bands and try to hop on shows last minute?
Yep. We contact people, be like, do you know anyone? Like anyone. Like, so we ended up filling in some of the dates. We said, fuck it, let's go. So we drove we went from like, where'd we go? It was like Philly. And then, I don't know, we ended up driving to Texas with a big gap in the middle. We said, screw it. And then we ended up, getting, I don't know how many, it wasn't that many, we had like Mississippi, like, just some of the Gulf states. And then we ended up back in New Jersey or Pennsylvania with our friend's band, Little League. They changed their name to Kill Verona, but they were the ones I was talking about earlier that, we've become good friends with over the years. Things like that. So it was just kind of like, I don't know. So that was probably that was like the first experience getting thrown into the bullshit of the industry. And that sucked after that.
Those ones are fun.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that was the most that sticks in my head the most, just basically as I just learned for me personally, I do this with everything in life. I don't want to be that person ever. So I'm learning from other people's bullshit, what not to do in life. I don't know. That's just how I am with everything. Even with weddings and commercial work, I want to treat everyone differently than, I was
with respect.
During
yeah.
Yeah. It's exactly what it is. It's transparency. It's, just being honest. And if shit hits the fan, reach out, be like, hey, this tour, just so you know, I couldn't do this. I couldn't fulfill, my obligation. Sorry. All right, well, we'll figure it out. All right. We won't quit our jobs today to go on tour.
I know exactly what that, but so I had a tour just like that too. Those are the worst because I set it up all myself. So I didn't have anybody else helping me. I set it up through MySpace, found all these promoters or other bands, tried to figure out where they were playing, and basically set up this whole 2-week tour around this skate park in Florida. I want to say it was like Tampa Bay area. And I'm like, all right, sick. So week down, week back, finally get down there after a week of shitty shows and then get to the skate park and we're trying to load in. And the guy's like, what are you guys doing? And we're like, we're here for the show. We're trying to meet. What show? That got canceled months ago. Like, what do you mean it got canceled months ago? That was the shit that like, all right, if I'm going to treat something seriously, I got to keep in contact with these people. Those are like hard lessons learned, but there were only ways I could learn them.
Yeah.
Were you able to find it, Ricky?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't think you played in 2003.
No, it was either, may have been 2004. I think Orange Island broke up in 2005.
I was at the 04 show, but I don't think I don't have like the.
Yeah, I was trying to find it on online. I can't find that specific one. But anyway, it was just cool. I had fun. I always had fun. I just ride it out, even I look at it this way: as much bullshit as you deal with being in a band, you're dating literally everyone that's in the band with you. It's a relationship and people fight and all this stuff. I just wanted to enjoy every second of it because there's not many people that get to play music and travel. It's an experience I can't explain unless you've done it, or
Agreed.
something like it, So I don't take that for granted. So when the band ended, I was definitely bummed, but I was like, well, I got this experience. I've made lots of friends through it. I just look at the positives. I had to roll with that, it just made more sense for me. I try to stick with the PMA.
I'm with you. I'm absolutely with you.
Did you start booking? Okay. Everybody I've talked to about you, the first thing they say is like, he books the most legendary shows. So did you start booking shows after the band broke up, or were you doing that while the band was still playing?
So that happened. That's an honor to hear anyone say anything like that about anything I've done. So like so basically after my band broke up, I did a little bit of tour managing. Like, again, that was short lived. But I was talking, I don't know if you know Merrick Jamilowitz. He used to book shows he used to work at the Palladium. And he ended up, he lives in California now, but he books like, he's a booking agent. I think he works with like Code Orange now and like bands like that.
Oh, wow.
He used to work with Matt Pike out here in the Northeast. But anyway, so he and I were, we were very close back then, and we were talking about just that we just thought the local scene of Worcester wasn't what it used to be. Like there were still shows and happening, but like, let's really like just go all out and just like make shows rock, like, just go crazy, make shows rock. Yeah. Rock and roll saves your soul. Anyway.
Let's make shows rock. Like, I feel like Jack Black's about to come out of nowhere.
I know. I think it's the dad in me now. I'm just like, it's not like,
let's rock.
It's so bad. I think it's because I have a mic here. So,
hey, no judgment here, man.
Let's rock and roll.
You want to be Omek? You be Omek.
Yeah, right. So what we ended up doing is, when I was a teen, I used to go to shows at the QVCC, and they stopped for years, and then they were kind of doing them again. So I went and I spoke with the man who runs everything. I said, hey, I'd like to do shows here. I ended up making it was the name of the company, like we started, was called Grand Unified Presents. It's based, something that Merrick wanted to name it because it has to do with the Grand Unified Theory, which I never heard of until he told me about it. I just looked it up just so I could tell you. The Grand Unified Theory is a model in particle physics in which at high energies, the three gauge interactions of the standard model comprising the electromagnetic weak and strong forces are merged into a single force.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Fucking
so
deep.
I was like, Merrick, you nerd. No, but anyway, yeah. So basically it's just kind of like shows coming together, one force, type of thing. So in a sense, it does make sense, like with that terminology, if you heard what I said. So anyway, I incorporated it as an LLC, had to get insurance because I'm dealing with like a venue that's not mine, kids possibly getting hurt, all this stuff. So I wanted to do everything right. Again, reflecting back to my experiences in life, I want to do things right. I want everything to be done, how I feel like it should be. So everyone can enjoy a rock show.
Safely.
Safely. So we ended up talking to wonderful human, Keith Gagner, who did the sound at the Palladium upstairs. So I don't know if he still does that anymore. I've lost touch with him since doing the shows, but so if you ever went to a Palladium show upstairs, you'd see the stacks on the side. Those are all his. So we talked to him and we worked out a rate for him to do the shows. And obviously it's not Palladium level, but it's, so we worked out a budget. So we knew what to pay him every single show, no matter what. And so he would come in, he actually hated the electrical system there. So he upgraded their electrical for them.
As you do.
We didn't even tell them, but
of course not,
because they got a free electrical upgrade because of him. He made it so it could run everything, and we fixed the lights. There were stage lights because the upstairs at the QVCC has a stage, and it's a church essentially, and they used to have little colored lights and have plays and stuff, but they're on the ceiling. So we fixed all those. Anyway, so we would put, Keith would set up his rig and he'd have this huge soundboard in the back. And, I'll never forget, some of the first shows, bands would show up and they'd be like, oh, all these stairs to carry up all of our equipment. And they're walking in, they're like, what the fuck is this? They're just excitedly, they're like, this is not a PA system. This is this is a show, system, for Palladium. So bands would come in and they get the most incredible sound. And that's something that we wanted. So when bands would play, it just, even though it's still a DIY style setup, aside from that, they, I just felt like bands just deserve to sound awesome all the time.
Well, it turns out shows are Shows are better when bands sound good and they can hear themselves so that they can play more confidently. Yeah.
So it was,
who knew?
I know, right? So I had this rig and it was just awesome. So people wanted to play the shows that people look forward to that. And we started off doing some small shows to test it out. And then it just grew into something I didn't expect it to grow the way it did, but Merrick and I just used our connections and, with certain booking agents, we're just like, hey, just so you know, if you have any tours coming through, hit me up and I'll put a bid in for the packages and get them, the bands coming through. A good place to play, it's for basically the shows I did were for bands that, that were touring for the most part and couldn't, they're not big enough to fill the Palladium upstairs, but they might not need to do a basement show, So they, bands that would, fill up that place. So
300 to 500 heads.
Yeah. Let's we overcapacitated a lot. Yeah. I don't know. Can I get in trouble for saying that?
Statutes of limitations has to have.
Yeah. I don't think they can retroactively find you.
I can't even explain how I was in the office downstairs during some of the shows and it's shows on the second floor. And I just watched the ceiling go, move up and down. And I was like, please, 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 please. The room could hold the amount of people that were up there. It's just the whatever the code regulations were a lot less. So, but that ended up letting, the shows were nuts. Some of them were out of control, fun. I'm trying to think of, even 4 Year Strong played there a bunch. That's where I basically met all of them. So that was, it was probably 15 years ago, easily. But, when they played, I would look at the crowd go nuts. I'm like, I don't think I've ever seen a fan base go this insane at a show. It was amazing. That, and we did we put on, we did a Bane weekend. So it was a Saturday and Sunday show with Bane, and both of them sold out. So we like
How
over 400.
high is the stage?
The stage, I think a few feet, at least 3 feet high.
Well, because if you said you booked Bane, that means you probably had everybody up on stage.
Oh, it was out of control. It was awesome. There was each day, because we used to. I actually did. So the other thing I did too is I did pre-sale tickets and stuff too through a ticket provider, which helped greatly. So shows were selling out. We were doing like over 400 people, like in that room. So, but the Bane shows were just absolutely ridiculous and so much fun. Yeah, I don't know. I was just grateful for that, for those opportunities, and just and Bane used to play there, when they first started years ago, So cool. So it's great to like get bands back into those type of places just with a really good sound system.
To this day, my favorite place to see a show is always going to be a hall. It's going to be a hall show that has a decent sound engineer. But like growing up in Connecticut, I saw With Honor play hall shows a whole mess load of times. And again, there was no stage, but there were still dudes like just piling on and this really like brotherhood, fun fucking vibe in just this hall that some kid had his bar mitzvah a couple weeks ago.
Yep. That's exactly it. Yeah. Cause that was it. Yeah. Usually the next, day there'd be like a church service or something, so you had to make the place look, spotless for that. So
did you have any like shows go bad on you?
Almost. I think, let me try. Oh, seriously, this will be interesting to see if I get hunted down after this. No, just kidding. There was a show. It was Therefore I Am. I don't know if you remember them. I think Vanna. Anyway, I think it was Therefore I Am's record release show. I did that for them. I think they were one of my last. That actually was my last show there. I was actually on my way out from doing the bookings, and they asked me to help run the show for them. And so because I ran such a tight ship, I didn't need a police presence because I had volunteer staff and some people did security. That were actually like one person was a bouncer at the Palladium at the time. So anyway, awesome. He helped me out, things like that. Never really had too much trouble, thankfully, but so because it technically wasn't like my show run under my moniker. So therefore I had to get a police detail. So the police officer hung out in the office downstairs. This was like a last minute thing that they needed to add on. And I was like, oh shoot, because the capacity. So if they see that, the place is like full, it's going to get shut down. So we were downstairs in the office and I was down there the whole show. And the police officer he just liked to hear himself talk. So I was I was having a conversation with him. Well, he was having a conversation with him, but I was like the whole entire show, like for 3 hours, and like, other people would come down and like feel bad that I was stuck down there because and would switch out with me, and the show went off without a hitch, just knowing it was 30 steps away from getting shut down. And, it was the weirdest thing. And then after the show, everyone left. And then the police officer went upstairs to make sure everything was cool. And everyone was out by then. It was the weirdest thing. So that almost went awry. I don't know if the show would have got shut down or not, maybe, but anyway, the show was great. I didn't get to see it all because I was downstairs in the office the whole time, but that was like a close call. I did have one show where a kid, in the pit, got hit in the face and ended up with a bloody nose. And I brought him downstairs, gave him an ice pack, called his mom.
Give him a juice box.
Yeah, give him a juice box. Thankfully, he wasn't that young. But I'm like, great, this is it. Like, someone's going to sue me now, So I had insurance and everything. So, but it doesn't matter. It's just a fact of anything happening. So the mom shows up and she comes up to me and she's like, thank you for taking care of him. He gets these bloody noses every weekend. I appreciate you doing this. Like, it means a lot to me. Have a good night. I was like, what? I was like, you're an awesome mom.
Thank you for not suing me.
Yeah, no, I was just like, of course I wanted to take care of your kid. He has a bloody nose. I'm not going to leave him hanging there. But like, he just sat in the office with his nose, head back and the cloth on his face. And she just took him. I said, here's your number. Call me. Let me know how it turns out. And she said, everything's fine. He just has a swollen nose. Nothing broken.
That's awesome.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Hi, sorry. Yeah, Timmy just rocks too fucking hard, and he does this every weekend.
So like his mom's like, Timmy again.
Classic.
What did we tell you?
Yeah.
I mean, from some of the shows that I've been to that got like horrendously destroyed, like people taking out lamps with their guitars and a little bloody nose, that is really not that big a deal. So I'm glad to hear none of yours went horrifically wrong.
Yeah. I mean, there were some like scuffles here and there, even with like someone rushing the door at a show once, and I grabbed them, and it ended up like one of those like face-offs, like an Avengers movie, like you're holding on to each other and you're ready to like do that. And then I said, we're not doing this. And I let the dude go because I didn't want to get into a fight. And then I collected myself, and then I went up into the show and I tapped him on the shoulder, and I'm thinking about like, I was actually like a dad that day. I said, I'm like, can you come downstairs? Let's talk, So we did and worked everything out. And in the end, he just laughed. He's like, you need better people at the door. But I was just like, and I found out he was friends with one of the bands. I'm like, they had spots on the guest list. You didn't have to rush through the door, So I took it. I went in a different direction, with it, and ended up fine in the end. And he apologized. And so.
Always taking the Papa Joe approach.
I don't know. I just don't want bullshit in my life. I'm done.
I respect that. Dude,
even to this day, if you have bullshit, I'll either try and help you through it, or I just won't do it. I'm here for you.
Unless I don't want to be.
Yeah.
Right up until I don't care. Ricky looks concerned, so I think we might have lost him.
All right. No, I'm just, my day of technical difficulty is continuing, and my phone is dying. So I had to unplug my headphones and plug in a charger.
Gotcha.
Thank God I'm not an important guest, though.
You are the most important guest. Are you kidding me?
I have these kind of issues every single week, basically. So it's like, it's across the board.
When we get through the holidays, we're going to set him up in his office, and he's going to have a similar setup to how you do, with like a nice mic and a.
Yeah.
I'm in there now. I just haven't set anything up.
He's getting there. The Bad Rabbits drum heads look dope as hell.
Yeah.
They're the only things I've hung up in the house.
Then show them off. Hell yeah.
Right. And I have more art hanging in my office behind me than I do in my actual house.
Yeah. I have the same banner you have hanging behind you. It's over there on the floor. It's not on you yet.
You use it as a rug.
I need to put something right here just to fill in the camera angle. But so Joe, we've gone about 45 minutes. I don't know. Is there anything else we want to bring up or talk about? Anything that you're super excited about?
Let's see. What am I super excited about? Geez, I really have to think about that one. Nothing's exciting anymore. No.
Oh, I wish
kidding.
COVID wasn't here so I can come give you a hug.
I know, right? We could skip through a crosswalk together. I don't know.
You name the day, sir.
That should just be a thing in Worcester. Skipping around downtown.
I mean, you did that thing at Bellbrook, the mini shoots. You can totally do a mini shoot session down on Main Street, Worcester, where you have families come and just cross the crosswalk with you, and you just do that for 4 hours.
Oh, I could do a lot, because how long is that stopwalk? Is it?
It was like 60
like
seconds.
10 seconds or 15?
Yeah, I could do like 15-second photo shoots.
Dude,
That's
that would
it.
be sick.
No excuses. That's it. You have 15 seconds to get your shit together for a photo.
Flash
Dude, that
mob
would
photo
be
shoot.
so awesome.
I'm sure tons of people would want those shots like we had.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
I'm glad we got to go to that alley, because it's been like a weird dream of mine to go to that alley.
I love that alley. It's rad.
Do that photo. It's just you're surrounded by concrete, and just the perspective with the lines going,
Yeah.
Yeah, I like how you came low on it, so you had those top angles.
Yeah, I needed that because I couldn't. Again, you know how I feel about dumpsters.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's another thing. The city of Worcester has to get rid of those dumpsters. They're really fucking up your jam, you know?
Yeah, don't you know alleyways are meant for like cool photo shoots, not dumpsters?
What the? It's ridiculous.
What the frig?
What the frig?
Well, Joe, thank you very much for hanging out with us and for taking those awesome shots and for spending an hour this morning. How can people find more of your photography and see your work?
Well, my website is helloimjoe.com. And my Instagram is _helloimjoe.com. And my email is hello@helloimjoe.com. And
nice and easy for the people. No, I love the brand consistency.
It's because that's how I introduce myself. So why not just brand it with that?
So good.
Yeah.
Good God. Yeah, phone's blowing up. Well, we hope to see you at the shop soon, or the coffee shop that is. But you're always a pleasure to see around the city, and we're big fans of your work and your presence. So thank you for being cool.
Ditto, kiddo. Yeah.
Papa Joe!
Here and yeah.
What?
That just cut out. He said ditto, kiddo, and I just yelled Papa Joe.
Oh,
Sorry.
I was very confused.
Way too excited. I had 2 whole big cups of coffee, and now I'm getting myself ramped up to go get COVID tested.
Yeah. For that tickler.
Come here.
Nice.
All right. It probably stopped somewhere in there.
Hey, thanks, Joe. You're the greatest. That was a blast. I love Joe very, very, very much. He is one of my favorite human beings to see all of the time.
Seriously.
So yeah, and I know he's somebody that we've been saying again with this ongoing list that we have of like, fuck, we got to have Joe on the show. We got to have Joe on the show. And it just never happens. And finally it happened. Before we get into it, I found my Slipknot pass. I can't find my ticket, but I do have it. Eventually it'll make it onto a Stub Stories. Maybe I'll even do it in the next one. We'll see. Cause I changed up my format a little bit, but yeah. So Slipknot pass, Woot Nanny, suck it.
I love it. I absolutely love it. But yeah, just to dovetail off of you for Joe, I've thoroughly enjoyed getting to know Joe. We haven't really been friends for long. It's only been a couple of years now, but you know, we've gone kayaking together. He's the kind of guy that inspires you to be a better version of yourself, and then always is up for something weird or interesting or fun. We have a standing date to go kayaking in the middle of Lake Quincy when it's ice outside. So, yeah.
As I die.
No dying.
That sounds adorably terrifying.
Yeah, like it doesn't sound scary so much as it just sounds cold and miserable.
Yeah.
We're doing it for the Instagram photo. That's what I keep telling him.
Oh,
So-
I mean, you're speaking my language, dog.
So thank you so very much, Joe. You were a delight. Sorry we
He really
couldn't get
was.
Wayne Gretzky. We tried, guys.
We got the only person cooler and more legendary than Wayne Gretzky.
Yes.
Fact, not an opinion.
I was trying to say we got Wayne Gretzky's daughter name, but I couldn't remember her name. I know she's
Paulina.
like a model. Paulina Gretzky. That's what it is.
Yeah. She's married to some golfer.
Oh, well, that's less fun.
I don't know who he is, but I don't know.
All right. Well, Solon's getting a break this week because I'm having fun and I'm making jingle bells with cans. So Stoke and Poke time.
Oh, damn.
Stokes and Pokes, Ricky jokes, Travis rips a bowl. Fizzle fiends all make a scene when we yell Seltzer Time. Hey, Stokes and Pokes, Ricky's joke, Travis rips a bowl. Fizzle fiends all make a scene when we yell Seltzer Time. Hey!
Oh, doesn't that make you feel festive, Ricky?
It really does. Festive AF, as the kids say.
What kid?
Me, I would say that.
So, I really for the 99th poke, I don't know. I'm having trouble with Christmas coming and all the stresses of everything and trying to get everything done and trying to maintain mental health and all that other happy horse shit. So I don't really want to like stress too hard about what I'm poking. So I'm just going to poke the fact that thank Christ this year is ending. Thank Christ that we can just close the books on this shit and start fresh in 2021. And I know nothing really changes. It's the fucking same people. It's the same situation. However, hopefully after January 20th, some bright shit happens and we're able to put into motion some really good change. And I've heard that it could be as early as April that the general public is seeing vaccinations, that, it's just shit is trending in the right direction. Let's ignore the fact that there's a second COVID in England. That's a different type of COVID. But anyway, I guess I'm poking mental attitude, and let's keep it posy.
Cool. I don't know. I'm into that.
Fuck, I forgot to get sorry, be right back.
Okay. Hey, you guys, what's up? It's just me right now. Travis just left the room. His room, where it's obviously at different places. Yeah, so I'm thinking 2021, little secret information. We might like pimp out our YouTube a little bit more, pimp out our TikTok a lot more. Travis is back, so hey, man.
I forgot to get my talking aids. So I am stoked. There's a dude on TikTok who wrapped up his sister's present, and I think it was a gift card, and he wrapped it up to look like a kayak, so that when she came out, it looked like he had bought her a kayak and it was just a gift card. And I love that idea.
So sick.
It's a little wasteful because it was a lot of wasted paper. Yeah. So this year I kind of took a lead from that, and I wrapped up my father-in-law's present to look like a cat.
Okay.
And my dad's to look like a toy car.
That's fantastic.
So it started with this because I buy my father, and he doesn't watch the show, so he's not going to spoil his gift. I buy my father-in-law gum. The dude chews gum like it's his job. He loves this sugar-free Trident gum. So I buy him like a big ass pack every year. But this year I wanted to switch it up. And then I'm like, well, I'm going through this much effort for my father-in-law. I might as well do a similar effort for my own dad.
There you go.
So wrap things to look like other things. Let's have some fun.
When I was a little kid, I never wanted anything for Christmas except for like CDs.
Okay.
I wanted stuff. It was always like music related. So it was like concert tickets or CDs. So after a while, my dad started wrapping. He'd get me like, whatever, five CDs. I don't know. And he'd wrap them in like a huge box or like put them in like a boot box or something. So I'd like open it and I'm like, what the hell is this? Like I had no clue. And then I'd open it and there'd be like a couple CDs in there. And I was like, oh, this is hilarious. Like,
I love that stuff.
I thought it was great. My dad used to work for a printing company. So like the presents my dad wrapped were always in plain white, like printing paper. He would take home like a huge roll of it. And it would last like fucking years. Like it literally, he had it forever.
So they were just plain white boxes. Just
plain white. Yeah. Just, you knew my dad's wrapping because it was like plain white written with a Sharpie. To Ricky from dad. To Jelly from dad. Or mom and dad. I think my dad always wrote mom and dad on everything, but it was awesome.
I love the Spartan. I used to wrap my family's gift in tinfoil till my mom yelled at me for wasting tinfoil.
Awesome. Yeah.
And then I would do the funny papers, and I would collect funny papers for a while and wrap everybody's gifts in funny papers.
I'm like the worst wrapping person of all time. I hate it.
Get bags, son.
Yeah, it's usually what I like go with for the most part.
So anyway, that's what I got for Stokes and Pokes. Wrap your gifts as something fun. And what do you got for the people?
Sick. Sup. Okay, so my poke is all right. So I want to like get the Seltzer Time Twitter to kind of like bump a little bit more. And the other day I drove into work on what day did it snow? It snowed a lot on Thursday. So Friday morning, driving into work, and I park behind Crust. So like I'd usually take the tunnel and come out in front of Crust, and then I take a right and go up George Street, which is like that huge hill.
Yeah.
I'm a moron. And I drove all the way from my house to downtown and realized like how crappy the roads were because they didn't really do a good job plowing. So I still took George Street like fucking jabroni. And as soon as I pulled, so the best part about it was there was like 2 utility trucks on either end of it. So I was like, oh fuck, George Street's closed. And which would have been awesome. But instead they were working on the sidewalks around it, or like on the manhole things in front of it or whatever. So there was a cop just kind of standing there, and I look, I'm like, oh, it's actually open. So I like throw my blinker on and I pull onto George. And as soon as I pulled on, I was like, oh fuck. Cause like they didn't plow that street at all.
How are they going to plow it? Yeah. It's like a vertical fucking
It's a straight up mountain. So I'm like driving up this thing and I'm like, why did I do that? That was so stupid. It's a one-way road. There's really nothing you can do except just commit. And my car is like really, really good in the snow, but this was so bad. So I'm like going, but there's a man walking down the middle of George Street in the snow. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? So the whole time I'm now panicking, like full on, like, fuck, there's like 4 different ways this is going to be bad. And there's like half of a way this might be okay. So I'm going and going and going, and my car is like half sideways. Like it's like slipping and sliding all over the place, which it never does. This guy's just like running down the hill, and I'm like, what the fuck? Finally I stop, and now I'm just stuck. Like once you stop, you can't keep going. I'm at the absolute, like the part where it's the steepest before you get to the top. I'm just before you get to that part. So there's nothing I can do. I'm just sitting there in my car with my foot as fucking like hard down on the brake as humanly possible, waiting for this man to go anywhere else. So he runs by and like waves to me, and I'm like, oh yeah, fuck my life. So he like runs by. I'm now watching him in my rearview mirror. He finally like gets further enough away and then onto what is the sidewalk that's also covered in snow. So I'm like, all right, at least he's not in the road anymore. Now I have to get out of the situation that I'm stuck in.
I can't riveted, dude.
I can't go forward. So I throw my car in reverse. I'm now driving backwards down a slowy as fuck George Street. I'm like, okay, because there's 2 parking lots that like kick off of George, and I'm like, all right, I'll back into one of those. I'll turn around, and then I'll just go down face first. I'll go down the wrong way. Yeah, I was like, it sucks. But at least if I start to slide, I can see what I'm about to die into instead of going down backwards. Like, well, you know what? Fuck it. So
I could see what I'm about to die into.
So I'm waiting. I'm sitting in my car. Like I'm now backed into this driveway thing, and I'm watching as this man gets to the bottom of the street and then goes on to Main Street. So I'm like, all right, cool. At least now there's only one of us that's going to die. If I lose control, it's just me. It's not this random person who's like, you know what I should do the day after a snowstorm? I'm going to jog down the biggest hill in the city. So I'm now going down, and the cop that was standing at the bottom, he watched this entire thing happen.
They all probably stopped. They're like, watch this. We got another one.
Right. So, but he was cool though. Like he was kind of like waving me down, and like, I knew at least hopefully nobody is going to come up at me, 'cause like, that's not going to end well for anybody involved. So I get to the bottom, and I rolled up my window, and I'm like, yeah, man, like not my best move. And he's like, yeah, I didn't plow. I'm like, yeah, no. So I like go around and park. As I get out of my car, I pop on Twitter on the Seltzer Time account, and I wrote, defund the police, fund the DPW. And it was like the highest engaged tweet we've ever had on the Seltzer Time account. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah. People were like all about it. And then literally today, there's like mad DPW cars outside of my house because of that flood, like the pipe that broke. And I was like, see, they need to be funded properly, because they plow sometimes if they can, and they take care of all the water issues in my life that aren't technically my fault or a problem. But yeah, it was nuts. So I almost died on George Street on Friday.
I'm glad you got out of it, homie.
So my poke is we got to fund up the DPW guys, because they need better plowing equipment, because it sucks. But yeah, that's it.
I want anybody that isn't from Worcester, that isn't familiar with Worcester, just to Google George Street Worcester and find the George Street Challenge and take a look at this. This hill is like infamous around here for being the steepest hill around.
It's insane. And there's buildings and stuff like on either side. But it's not like you're just like going down a hill. There really isn't room for error. first of all, you can't drive down it. You're supposed to only drive up it.
Yeah.
But like going down it is not the fun thing at all, especially when you know that the road is just like straight up snow.
One big slip and slide.
Yeah, that's what it was. I almost remember the sign we had that was like, we should slip and slide down George Street or something like that.
You almost made that shit legit.
In a fucking car.
You're so badass.
Well, you know me, just being a badass.
What are you stoked about?
I'm alive. No,
same.
So my stoke is the Celtics are back tomorrow. What's today? 21st. So on Wednesday, the 23rd, basketball's back. I'm really excited. I know the Celtics lost Gordon Hayward, which I don't really know how I feel about it. I don't really care because he's always hurt. But with him gone, it gives time to the younger kids, gives them more shots, which is what they need because they are actually good. And Gordon Hayward definitely is not what he was. But yeah, I'm stoked. Celtics made some moves that I think they really needed to make. They brought in actual bench players. Tristan Thompson's here, which he's married to a Kardashian or he's affiliated with the Kardashians. I don't know if he's married. There's a baby, I think, with somebody. But either way, he's like a famous guy because
he's like
of that.
A famous guy.
He's like a famous guy. But he's a solid bench guy. Like that move actually makes sense. They've made a couple other ones that were good too. And I'm just really happy that sports are back that I care about because I don't fucking care about football. And the Patriots suck. So I
forget that football's even still going.
Yeah, everybody did because it sucks. It doesn't matter this year. It's like, cool. Every team, who cares? It's garbage.
Every team, who cares?
But the NHL also officially announced today they come back on January 13th. So I'm very excited about that.
January 13th for a full season? Half season?
56 games. So it's more than...
Is that a two-thirds
It's more than
season?
half a season. Yeah, basically. Yeah, they normally play 82.
Or 82.
Yeah. So they're going to play 56, which is good. But they're in different divisions. Like, we play 8 games against the same 8 teams, I think. It might not even be 8. I forget. Yeah, I think it's 8 teams in each division. So it's like we're literally all of our games are going to be against Washington, Pittsburgh, Philly. Oh my God. And I think the 2 New York teams. And then might have been
I'm kind of okay with that.
Carolina, maybe.
That's going to create like that playoff style hockey really
it
early
will,
on.
for sure.
Because you're going to get really familiar with the dudes you're playing against.
Yes. I mean, it sucks for us because we have to play Washington, Philly, New York, Tampa Bay might be the other. I don't remember exactly how we have it set up. Either way, we play like 3 of the 7 teams that we play are really fucking good. And 2 of them have the opportunity to be very fucking good. So it's going to be very tough, but
it'll be interesting, man. It'll be entertaining.
Yeah. I'm excited.
I'm excited for you. That's it.
That's it. That's how we do it. 99 bitches.
People, we have some business to talk about. So we're going to let you go. Thank you for joining us for the 99th episode and for as many episodes as you listen to. I have been Travis. You could find me at seltzertime.com, of course, and at Hunchback Travis or travisduda.com.
Ooh, kid's got 2 websites.
Trying.
I've been Ricky. You guys can find me at Seltzer Time Official, TikTok, Twitter, DickChuck77. Same things. Played with Snapchat last week. Probably won't keep playing with it because it's fun, but it doesn't do it for me. And then, yeah, that's the move. Find our YouTube. If you're watching it, you found it. Like us. Subscribe. We just got an email. We have like 3,000 views, I think we've had.
Yeah, we just got a celebratory thing. That was pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. Imagine, it would be so sick if they were like $1 a view. Dope.
Yo, it'd be so sick if it was like a nickel a view.
It's also dope.
Still means we're getting a 30 rack or something. Anyway. All right. Thank you, people. And we'll see you next week.
Cool. Bye, guys.